is sort of like the reverse of the Last Crusade. We get to meet the Guardian first.
I have waited years for this. You are the first to arrive in a very long time.
There's an entire village not a few kilometers away from here. There was a cult just outside, worshipping a dragon. You're trying to tell me that for years, no one has walked in this completely unlocked giant temple, rambling on about their love of Andraste. No one. Okay then.
It has been my duty, my life, to protect the urn and prepare the way for the faithful who come to revere Andraste. For years beyond counting have I been here, and shall I remain until my task is done and the Imperium has crumbled into the sea.
What is your duty, and why do you have to wait for a civilization to end? That's like some dude chilling out at Jesus' tomb just waiting for the Roman civilization to kill itself off or something like that. But why are you even doing this? Was someone from your order supposed to destroy Tevinter and you're just waiting for feedback? Was there some kind of an inquisition that no one told us about? I don't get it why you're here.
It is not my place to decide your worthiness. The gauntlet does that. If you are found worthy, you will see the urn and be allowed to take a small pinch of the ashes for yourself. If not...
So what's stopping me from taking the whole urn, or a handful of ashes? Who's going to stop me? You? You're a ghost. How would you even know? Maybe you guys should have like a dispensary or a ticketing system or something.
There is suffering in your past. Your suffering, and the suffering of others.
Well, this is great. It's like a medieval circus. You run an obstacle course, you get prizes, you get your fortune told. Fantastic. I can even hear a snake charmer flute from background gypsy music. So we feel distraught because we left our parents to die. Alistair left Duncan to die. Wynne wonders whether she's just a tool of the Chantry or the Circle. And Morgan doesn't give a crap. So first there's a whole bunch of riddles from ghosts. Then we meet a ghost of our dead dad who gives us a useless item. What is going on? We then get to a ridiculous party position puzzle where pressure plates are perilously close to a chasm which generate a megaman platform bridge. Luckily, we have a full party to constitute this ridiculous puzzle. I guess Lara Croft would just shoot the statues and use them as weights, or just go to the closest platform up to the door and either climb the wall or wall jump, or I don't know, just simply jump their way across the 2 or 3 meter chasm. What does this have to do with religion or faith? Did they have to do some sort of weird trial and error falling to your death game with friends? What if you came alone and didn't have any rope? Then we take off all our clothes and walk through some fake fire. There are definitely some perverts in the development or writer team, or someone's pissed that there's no nudity in this game. What is going on? So then the pervy ghost guardian comes back, and we're talking to him in our underwear while everyone stands around in the fake fire. We take some ashes and get back to Redcliffe.
You have been waylaid.
Well, I gotta give it to Dragon Age Origins. Every map event has to have a random encounter. So we give the ashes to Tegan. Some mage does some wispy thing. The Jarl wakes up and the wispy thing is still hovering around for some reason. Eamon gives us a title of Champion of Not Kirkwall and a shield that all the Redcliffe Knights get, even though we're a rogue. Thanks. The Jarl is obviously anti-Loghain since he was nearly assassinated via poison and feels that he should play his Alistair card to challenge the Queen.
Tegan and I have a claim through marriage, but we would seem opportunists no better than Loghain. Alistair's claim is by blood.
And what about me? Does anyone care what I want?
You have a responsibility, Alistair. Without you, Loghain wins. I would have to support him for the sake of Ferelden. Is that what you want?
But I...
Okay, why would people choose and accept Alistair when they all look up to you and your brother? Would they really want a bastard son they never heard of to replace Loghain that just pops out of nowhere? Loghain's daughter is the queen, and he's a war hero who fought with the second previous king and decided to save his company from death at Ostagar, in effect killing the king. Are bastard sons really that important here? If people respect and admire Arl Eamon a lot, enough that he has the equivalent claim to the throne as Loghain, wouldn't most of the country rather fall behind Arl Eamon? who would want to follow Loghain then? The guy who effectively got the previous king killed. Now we have to accept Alistair as being our best choice simply because the person of authority, Arl Eamon, says so, even though it's not very well explained. This is simply how things are, when this could have been an even more politically complicated story. Obviously my analysis is lacking here, and that could be a good sign of political intrigue, but I feel as if the narrative could have been a bit more in-depth. Since the main threat is the Darkspawn, it would not be wise to attack Loghain and his army, as we need our men and his to fight the Darkspawn. Thus begins the Landsmeet, where we see a democratic process for an impeachment, and essentially a confidence vote for a new leader. Suddenly, we have a meeting in Denerim with Loghain and Tim Curry. This is a great scene with heavily loaded dialogue, as there's quite a lot of tension and motives for nearly everyone involved. There's also no music, which makes it feel a little less dramatic. It's a bit awkward, and it's a tense scenario even without feeling tense. It's just odd. And very similar to how Origins does things, there's usually a precursor or a smaller scene before a larger one. So first we had an origin story, and then we had a joining ritual, which mirrors the hero's journey jump from the ordinary world to the crossing of the threshold. We have Redcliffe before the ending battle, which we haven't seen yet, obviously, which is a test for the ordeal. And now we have a mini meet and greet before the actual Landsmeet, or a small climax before the secondary climax. This is all great writing stuff.
Don't you recognize Rendon Howe, Arl of Amaranthine and Terran of Highever?
And current Arl of Denerim, after Urien's unfortunate fate at Ostagar. Truly, it is an embarrassment of riches.
Seems Tim Curry's been busy. So we add to the fact that we can demand blood rights from Tim Curry, and this whole scenario plays nicely into our personal plot. Both of these plots are ours. This is simply how you do it. See how simple this is? We want to save the kingdom from the Darkspawn, and we want to get revenge on Tim Curry. This is just good writing.
You have no rights. Your family surrendered them when I revealed them to be traitors to the king.
Traynor doesn't really like our tone. Instead, Loghain goes back to accusing Eamon and his supposed ambitions to the throne.
I had hoped to talk you down from this rash course, Eamon. Our people are frightened. Our king is dead. Our land is under siege. We must be united now if we are to endure this crisis. Your own sister, Queen Rowan, fought tirelessly to see Ferelden restored. Would you see her work destroyed? You divide our nation and weaken our efforts against the Blight, with your selfish ambitions to the throne.
And this is what makes Loghain such a great antagonist. Even though he caused the death of the king, he's accusing the other power that be, Eamon, and his history with his sister on the throne for attempting to throw the country into a civil war. Loghain honestly believes he is doing the right thing, and doesn't see his military maneuver as a bad thing, or as a form of treason, which ended in the death of the actual king, his men, and our mentor Duncan. He also is talking diplomatically here, when we know he wants us all dead, and has tried to do so, but is now using subterfuge and negotiation to maintain his authority, attacking Eamon, believing he has aspirations to the throne, which isn't a poor assessment of what could be going on here. Loghain doesn't technically want the throne, he just wants to maintain power, to keep everyone in check, and eventually fight the Darkspawn, all to protect Ferelden. Even though Loghain was addressing Eamon, strangely enough we have the dialogue option here.
I should put my faith in untried foreign hands. Do you think I'm blind? Caelan depended on the Grey Warden's prowess against the Darkspawn, and look how well that ended. Let us speak of reality rather than tall tales. Stories will not save us.
I cannot forgive what you've done, Loghain. Perhaps the Maker can, but not I. Our people deserve a king of the Theron bloodline. Alistair will be the one to lead us to victory in this blight.
Oh, is that all I have to do? No pressure.
The Emperor of Orlais also thought I could not bring him down. Expect no more mercy than I showed him. There is nothing I would not do for my homeland.
Loghain is still trying to see himself as the defender of Ferelden, once again knocking King Caelan's belief in fantasy stories and tall tales. He's a pragmatist and an honest one in his convictions at the very least. And Arl Eamon accidentally plays his Alistair card a bit too early, when he could have easily baited Loghain to say he was right, that Eamon would take the throne if it meant opposing an usurper and killer of the king, especially someone who tried to kill him. But he's just too honest a guy, or stupid, or just not into the whole great game, which of course doesn't exist in Ferelden. Maybe Fereldans are a lot more honest than their Elysians. Not what you do in these kinds of politics, though, but when you're on the team of good guys and your protagonist isn't a major player, this is pretty much how it plays out. And I guess that's fine. We're not here to be a politician, but rather a war leader, or the herald of Darkspawn doom. We're also coming for you, Timmy. And this is, again, what makes Loghain great. He has one action that changes the course of his entire life, and he's going along with all the advisors, all the bad suggestions, all the evil rogues he's covered himself with to achieve his goal. All good intentions, all horrible actions. So our next task is to explore Denerim and get a feel for the leaders of Ferelden who have now come. This is going to be a supposedly tricky event, since Loghain has been here in power for months.